Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Marketing Mix. I'm flying solo today. So today I'm going to talk to you about email reports and Apple's mail privacy protection, which is due to come into force soon. But before I do that, I just want to plug what's coming up on the 24th of August. I've got the lovely Catherine George from Oh So Social Marketing joining me. And she's going to be talking to us about Instagram hashtags. So if you use Instagram and hashtags are a little bit confusing, or you don't know which ones are the right ones to use, join us on the 24th of August, and Catherine is going to explain everything to do with Instagram hashtags. Now, if you're joining me live today, do say hello in the comments box so that I know you're there, and ask any questions that you have in the comments as we go along, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. I've got a lot to get through today. There's a lot going on with email reports. So let's get going. The first thing that I just wanted to make sure that you all know about is what you should be looking for in your email marketing reports right now. You should always be looking at your report. So when you send out an email to your list, it's always really good to look at your reports and make sure that you understand the metrics that you're looking at and what they mean for your business. So let's go through the metrics and help you understand what they mean for your business. So first of all, opens. Really simple. It's how many people opened your email. Now, this is calculated by understanding the number of people that opened the email from the successful sends. And when I say successful sends, that's from emails that actually landed in people's inboxes, because sometimes emails bounce, and I'll come on to that in a little while. So opens is a really good indication of you getting the time right for sending your email. So if you get a lot of opens, immediately after you've sent your email, it's a really good indication that it's a good time for your subscribers to receive your email. Now, generally, when I look at my opens, quite a lot. I mean, I would say probably about 20%, 30% of my opens happen within the first hour of the email being sent. Sometimes even more. Sometimes edging up to 40%, and then it peters off, and opens happen here, there, and everywhere, really. Sometimes even days and weeks after I've sent the email. So knowing that such a big proportion of my list opens the email within an hour of me sending it is a really good indication that that's a good time for them to receive it. So that's one thing that will help you decide whether you're sending your email at the right time. So the next thing that we would look at when we're looking at our email reports is clicks. How many people have clicked on the links that you've put in your emails? Now, this is a really good indication of people being interested in what you're including in your emails. Because, if we're interested and you're being asked to go off and look at different items, or perhaps a blog post, or register for an event, or buy something, whatever the call to action is that you put in your email, if people are clicking on that, you know that they're interested in that item, and that over time, that's going to give you a really good idea of the types of content that your readers really like to see in your emails, which means that you can give them more of that sort of content. So, if they're clicking a lot on event registrations and are registering for those events, you know that events is a good thing for you to do. So that's how I would use clicks to help you determine what you should be doing in your marketing next. And I think it's really important to understand that you need to be generating content that is good for your audience, that they want to read or want to watch. So clicks is a really good indication of helping you to decide what else to give them next. I mentioned bounces briefly when I talked about opens. Now, bounces, these are emails that don't reach people's inboxes, or perhaps do, but it's still counted as a bounce, and I'll explain that. So A bounce can happen for a couple of reasons. It could be that you've got the person's email address wrong. So maybe there's a little typo, or maybe it's a .com instead of a .co.uk. So you need to check and look at your bounces and check and see that the email address is correct. It could also bounce because you've got an out of office reply. So if somebody's got an out of office reply set up on their email, that's counted as a bounce, and I don't worry about those too much. And then it could bounce because their inbox is full. They've not got enough space in their mailbox to receive a new email. So again, it's a bit difficult for you to communicate with people whose inboxes are full. You're going to have to wait until they've sorted that out, and they will sort that out because obviously there are other emails that they'll be expecting that they won't be getting. So wrong email address, out of office, mailbox is full, or the email doesn't exist anymore. So sometimes we close down our email addresses. So perhaps if you have quite a lot of business email addresses, so people's email address at their workplace, maybe they've left and that email address is closed down. So it's a good idea to really clear out your bounces every time you send an email, because that makes it more manageable. It doesn't make it a chore that you have to do, something that you put off. So when you look at your email reports, if you clear out the bounces at that time and make sure that everything's okay, it could be a 5-minute job instead of something that takes you hours if you just leave it. And of course, the bounces impact on your results, right? So you can improve your results by clearing out your bounces. And the last metric is unsubscribes. So this is when people don't want to hear from you anymore. They unsubscribe from your list so that you can't email them anymore. What does that tell us? Well, people unsubscribe for a couple of reasons. Sometimes it's because you email them too much. So perhaps you need to look at the frequency that you email your list. Have you told people that you'll send out a monthly newsletter and then start sending one out every week? That's going to annoy people. It might be that they don't need your email anymore. It's not relevant for them. So if, like me, you work with other small businesses, potentially someone could move from being a small business owner back into the world of employment, at which point they think, oh, I'm not sure I need these emails anymore, and I'm going to unsubscribe. Or it could be that your emails aren't interesting enough. They're finding them boring or too promotional. The content is just not interesting them. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on your unsubscribes and make sure that you understand why people are unsubscribing. And in most email software, you can actually ask people to tell you why they're leaving. And it's a good idea to do that because you understand what their motivation is for unsubscribing from your emails. So those are the main metrics. If you have any questions, if I've not explained that clearly enough, or you want some other examples, pop your comments into the comments box if you're watching live. If you're watching on catch up, comment anyway, and I will get back to you when I've got notified that you've commented. So let's move on to Apple's mail protection, mail privacy protection. So I wanted to really cover this off because it's quite important to understand the impact of this on your newsletters. So fundamentally, email marketing is not going to change. It's still a really great tool to help you to find new and repeat business. Hi, Graham. Graham's just popped in and said hello. So I'm not telling you that, that email marketing is going to become less effective. It's not. So if you're following best practices, and I talk about that a lot, it is still going to be an effective tool for you. But Apple's mail privacy protection is going to give users of their mail app more control. It's going to give them the option of hiding if and when they open marketing emails. Now that's quite a big deal. Basically, Apple is going to stop the tracking on emails working. So when you send out an email, there are pixels within the email that get sent out, and the pixels tell you what happens, and that turns into your email report. So why is this important? Well, you're going to have some iPhone users on your list. I know in the States, it's a really big deal because according to Litmus, which is a big company that monitors all things email marketing, around 52% of email opens happen on the Apple Mail app. So that's a big deal. So you're bound to have users of the Apple Mail app on your list. So the Mail privacy protection feature is going to be offered to all Apple users, and it's going to limit your email reports. So this is will be rolled out between September and November this year. So you've got time to get ready. You've got time to understand whether you've got Apple users on your list. So it's worth just kind of sitting down and working out what you're going to do. So what's the impact? Well, opens are going to increase, and they might increase substantially. And you might be thinking, oh, that's a good thing. But no, this is because once activated, this privacy protection is going to basically, anyone who's got it activated on their Mail app, Apple will pre-open those emails before the reader might even look at it. So it's not going to be a reliable metric anymore for you to base your success on, right? So I said right at the top, opens are a really good indication of you sending your emails at a good time for your list. Now, if you've been sending regularly and you've got a bank of data of knowing when your opens happen, you'll be able to work that out, right? So you'll be able to go back and look at reports from the past and be able to work out what a good day and time for you to send is. If you're just starting out and you're thinking, this is not going to help me, well, one of the things that I would really recommend you do is give your list an option. Just give them an option and put a poll in an email and say, what's the best day for you to receive my email? Get them to tell you, and then do a bit of testing. Make sure that you test whether that actually works. And opens is going to be difficult because you are going to, be impacted by this change. But if your proportion of opens that happen on a mobile are much lower than the proportions that happen on desktop, you'll be able to look at that and say, well, actually, do you know what, when I look at it, 60% of my opens happen on a desktop and only 40% happen on the mobile. So I can imagine that if this is what's happening, and 60% are looking on their desktop, and the opens are happening within an hour of me sending, I can imagine that this is actually a really good time. So, oh, thank you, Vicky, saying it's really useful. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. When I started reading about it, I was just like, oh no, my heart sank, but it's okay. You don't have to panic. So the next thing that's going to change is the click to open rate. So this is how many people click in relation to how many people opened your email. And that's going to decrease slightly, right? Because you don't know whether the clicks are going to be reliable, given that Apple will be pre-opening emails for their Mail app users. And it will decrease, right? But what you will be able to look at is the overall numbers of clicks, right? That's not going to change. People that click on your email, so you're looking at the numbers, not the click to open ratio. And you'll be able to tell how many of those people that are clicking on things, and you will still get a good indication of the types of content that people are interested in by the numbers of clicks that you get. So no need to panic about that, but just be aware that your click to open ratio will decrease. Now, If you're using open rate powered features like automations, they're going to become less reliable. So automations, most engaged users. So most engaged users, this is a metric that I use to pull together the list of people that are invited to the Marketing Motivator, which is my quarterly forum. So the forum is open to the most engaged people on my email list and the most engaged people in my Facebook group. The Facebook group is easy. Every month I get a list of the top 10 engaged users on my Facebook group. For my email list, what I was basing it on was people who had the most open rates and the most click rates. Now, I'm not going to really be able to rely on the open rates, so I'm going to have to really look at the click rate. And more than the click rate, I'm going to have to look at, how many emails they clicked through on. So it's going to be a little bit more work for me. So those features, segments, most engaged subscribers, resend to non-openers. So if you have this feature, which I do, I use Constant Contact, so that's a feature within Constant Contact. What it does is it resends the email on a specified date and time to anyone who didn't open the email on the first send. But what if Apple's already told you that it's opened? So these are things that you're going to have to really think about. And individual data from Apple Mail users is no longer going to be reliable, which is going to make personalization a little bit more difficult. So lots of things to think about. But again, don't panic. It's okay. There are things that you can do. So let's look at the stuff that you can do that's going to make it easier for you. So reconsider the way that you measure things. So rely less on what you can do, rely less on the open rates and the click to open ratios, and think about more about the things that you can do, what you can measure. So a conversion rate. If you're selling things, the percentage of email recipients who take a specific action and buy something. List growth rate. How fast are you adding new subscribers versus people clicking the unsubscribe button? Overall ROI. Think about the amount of revenue that you generate for, investing in email marketing. And it's a really odd figure now, but it's something like £38. It's £38 something. So for every pound you invest in email marketing, £38 something is what your return on investment could be as an average return on investment. Then perhaps the click rate, so the percentage of people who open your emails, the percentage of your email recipients, who click a link on your email. And then forwarding and email sharing. So these are really powerful options. This is when people think your content is so valuable, they'll forward it or share it on their own social networks. And those are inbuilt features in your email marketing software. So really think about how you measure things, and don't just rely on clicks and opens, right? So start putting in different goals in place. You could even do things like, we talked about clicks, but like how much are you increasing visitors from your email list to your website? So you could have you could go back and look at Google Analytics and look at a previous month of how many visitors came from your email and see whether you're increasing that, and look at how you might do that. So rely less on the metrics that Apple's mail protection, I never remember what it's called, mail privacy protection is going to mess with, and start putting other metrics into place that you want to measure. Now, if like me, you use automations, it's going to have an impact as well. So I've already mentioned automations. I use lots of them. I think right now I've probably got 15 or 20 automations up and running. It's a really great way to make sure that I'm engaging with people, sending out emails that I wouldn't have time to send. So every time someone joins my email list, an automation is welcoming them to my email list. And that's, something that happens automatically. So when you're setting up your email automations, use automations that are triggered by clicks or time-based. So don't use automations that rely on people opening your emails, because again, if Apple is going to pre-open these emails for your subscribers, you don't know what's happening. You don't know whether they're receiving those emails or not. And actually, I was explaining to my husband earlier. He's like, "Oh, what are you going to talk about today?" And I was explaining all this to him, and he said, "So what do you do with your automations?" And I have to say that I use what is called a list join automation for pretty much everything that I do, because that means that everyone that gets into that flow of emails sees everything. Because at the moment I don't really need anything more sophisticated than that. So if you visit my website today, when you're about to leave it, a pop-up will come up and it'll offer you a marketing campaign checklist, and it's got loads of stuff on there to make sure that your marketing campaigns go off without a hitch, and there's loads of tick boxes for you to fill in to make sure that you remember everything. Now, if you want that checklist, you plug in your email, and what happens is your email drops into a list in my Constant Contact account, and you start going through that automation. And that just happens. I've set that up, and that just happens, and I don't have to worry about it. So think about how your automations will be impacted. And then learn best practices. So, wherever I am, wherever you follow me, whether it's on Facebook, whether you're looking at YouTube, or you're in any other place that I am, blogs on my website, learn those best practices and learn how to make them work for you. Email marketing, I feel that people are a bit scared with email marketing. If that's you, let me know. I think that there's no reason for you to be scared. And I think the reason people are nervous about email marketing is because it's a little bit more involved than social media. Social media, it's easy for you to pick up your phone, create a post, and hit post and have done something on social media. It's a little bit more involved, not too much really, to create an email. And once you've done it, and it's like anything else, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. But email marketing is not something that you need to be scared of. And in fact, there's less, I feel, to learn about email marketing to help you really positively impact your business than social media, because everything on social media changes all the time. The algorithms change all the time. So you need to learn the best practices for email marketing, learn what works for you, how you can impact your business positively with email marketing. And then just anticipate more changes. Apple isn't going to stop here. They're on a mission. And there will be other things that come up, but then, you've got me to help you, right? So come to the places that are comfortable for you: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, my email list. That I'll have news of things, changes that are coming up that may impact you. So come to those places, and if you ever have a question, ask me. I'm more than happy to answer questions about email marketing, but really understand what's coming up and look at that landscape, particularly if you feel that you've got a lot of Apple Mail app users on your list. So that's pretty much it for today. You've been quite quiet, but I'm taking Vicky's comment as it being useful, as a good thing that you've been quiet and you've been taking it all in. This will be, well, I'm live now, but if you want to rewatch it, it will be on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel immediately after. So if you want to go back and watch it, please do. I'm just going to pop in an article in the comments that will help you understand in more detail what this is. It's quite a lengthy article of what these changes are and the types of things that you need to look out for. So let me just copy and paste that into the comments so that you can refer to that. So I'm going to try and type. Everything's so far away. Apple's mail. Oh, privacy protection. Probably spelled that wrong. But let me copy and paste that in there. So check out that blog post that will help you understand a bit more about the changes, go into a little bit more detail than I had time for today. And don't forget that in 2 weeks' time, I have my friend Catherine George with me. We're going to talk all about Instagram hashtags, or she's going to talk. I'm going to ask her the questions. So if you have any questions about Instagram hashtags, do let me know. Email me, comment on any of my socials with your questions. And I will pose them to her. She's a She Means Business trainer. So She Means Business Facebook trainer. She owns her own social media agency. So she's really well versed in Instagram. So do remember to pop that in your diary. And there will be reminders on my YouTube and my Facebook page. So thank you for joining me today. Oh, Vicky's just said thank you. A lot to think about. Been reducing email newsletters for 4 years. So lots of data to look back on. That's brilliant. That's brilliant that you've got lots of historical data to help you with these changes. And yeah, just keep looking at the email reports and understanding them and helping them, use them to help you understand what your next marketing steps should be. So thanks for joining me today. It's been brilliant chatting to you. And yeah, join me in 2 weeks' time for Instagram hashtags. Take care. Bye.